welcome to it. Let's climb the mountain. First things first, this is not a business show. This is a freedom show. But man, oh mercy, those two worlds are colliding in a way I never thought that I would see. And to my horror, it is showing the free market here in these United States maybe isn't so free, unless you've been trapped on a damaged submarine the last few days with no Wi-Fi, bro. You've almost certainly heard about this band of online traders who gamed the big shots and made a fortune on junk stocks like Gamestop and AMC. Now, essentially, they crowdsourced a ton of trades to send those stocks through the freaking roof, man. And a bunch of people became overnight millionaires, multi-millionaires. But guess what? The establishment, they didn't like losing that much money. And now it appears they also don't like the little guy horning in on their sweet, sweet action. And this is the part where freedom comes in. As soon as those little guys started raking in serious money, online trading apps like Robinhood halted trading on these stocks. The day traders got locked out. But surprise, surprise, the Wall Street hedge funds, they had no such artificial constraints. Huh, that's right. And this seeming injustice also caught the eye of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She tweeted, quote, "This is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood's app's decision to block retail investors from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade the stock as they see fit. As a member of the Financial Services Committee, I'd support a hearing if necessary." And then Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz quickly replied, "Fully agree. Get a room, you two." AOC told Ted Cruz to buzz off and resign. But the fact remains, lawmakers on both sides in both houses agree once again the little guy is getting screwed. So what should be done about it? Let's get into it with tonight's party panel. We've got a good one. American Enterprise Institute resident fellow and Washington Examiner senior political columnist Tim Carney is back right in front of the White House. That's where he is. And we've got comedian and host of the Part of the Problem podcast, which you know and love. He is the man, Dave Smith, well-bearded, and Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. Oh, man, three little angels here to duke it out or to agree. I don't know where you all stand, but Tim, Charles makes a really good point. These big funds have been manipulating stock prices for their advantage for as long as there has been a stock market. So tell me about some of the interesting allies that these massive investors have.
Well, I mean, Washington, D.C., for one.
Yep.
Democrats and Republicans. And the thing is that so much of financial regulation is geared towards improving confidence in the markets. Not making the markets run better necessarily, but making people more confident in the markets. I think we should be doing the opposite, and this is what this does. In the long run, the stock market is a measure of the wealth of companies. In the short run, it's the measure of randomness. It's a measure of who's manipulating what. It's a measure of stupidity. You cannot win in the short run. You shouldn't have confidence in your ability to play in the short run. And this is part of the way that hedge funds have always made money, is playing with the manipulation. Now they're the ones who got manipulated.
Yes, and I've always wondered how they make billions and billions of dollars per fund. And now you know, because they are working together. But David, also people are learning new terms like short selling, and they look at this and they ask themselves, all right, so if I want to go on an app and if I want to buy one of these stocks, I'm locked out. So that means the free market isn't really free. And they start asking themselves, how else is it not free? How else have I been lied to? What do you have to say to them?
Well, this entire industry is the antithesis of the free market. I mean, these are all. It all starts with the Federal Reserve, which is, poses as a private entity, but is basically the Department of Money and Banking. It was created by an act of Congress. The head is appointed by the president. They are the ones who prop up all of these big banks. And truthfully, look, a lot of this wild speculating is damaging to the economy, but this is what you get when you live in an economy with artificially low interest rates. It encourages this speculation. So you're not getting around that. What's fascinating about this case is, like you said, a lot of people are actually starting to take a look at this system. There's no reason to assume that this can't be done again. They basically decided that they can take on this short selling strategy of the hedge funds, and they were able to do it very successfully. But I think what's really interesting to people to watch is, in the year 2020, You had the largest transfer of wealth in human history from the poor and the middle class to the upper class, to the rich and connected. Huge corporate bailouts, shutdowns of mom and pop shops, record high profits for big companies, big tech companies, Amazon and the like. No one had a problem with this huge transfer of wealth. There was not this hysteria about it. Yet in one day, we have a transfer of wealth from some hedge fund guys to some regular investors, and everybody's flipping out. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about how corrupt this system is, I don't know what would.
I know a lot of platforms have shut down trading of stocks like Nokia and Cuomos and AMC and BlackBerry, not to mention GameStop, Leslie. But where can you still trade? Do you know that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm one of those people who not too long ago thought a hedge fund was a fund for money for my hedges in my yard. But listen, this, I love this. I have to say, I don't love them being stopped and the apps being shut down. I root for the underdog, and I love when the little guy goes, hey, player, I'm going to play your game and play you. And that's exactly what they did here. And I think the awesome thing about this is for people that aren't familiar with the market or don't invest or have somebody do it for them and don't fully understand because it's IRA or 401k and stuff like that most Americans have investments through, they really get a peek into what's going on, which is, hey, we're going to get rich. We're going to sink your company in the process, and these little guys are like amateur investors saying, we're going to use the internet and we're going to play your game. It kind of reminded me in a different way of all the TikTok kids buying tickets to a Trump rally one time. But I have to say, I root for the underdog, and when AOC and Ted Cruz agree on something and everybody's agreeing on something, these hedge fund rich guys are doing something bad.
Yes, and when they're trying to drive the value of certain companies into the ground by shorting them, and then you have a group of investors, amateur investors, day traders, who figure that out, and they go, no, we know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to short sell this. We're going to jack up the price. We're going to stop them from doing that, and in the meantime, we're going to make all this money when the value of the company goes up. All right, panel's going to return a little bit later. Well, it turns out New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's Emmy Award-winning pandemic response was not as exceptional as advertised. A new report claims that the governor's office severely undercounted COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes and assisted living facilities by as much as 50%. The report from New York Attorney General Letitia James found the Cuomo administration failed to count coronavirus-related deaths of nursing home patients who were transferred to hospitals before they died. So will the governor finally face consequences for the unnecessary deaths he caused? The panel is back. Tim Carney, Dave Smith, and Leslie Marshall. I have been so disgusted by this, Tim Carney, because I feel like the governor's response, anytime he's barely questioned about this, it has been so incredibly callous. And every time he makes a new excuse or spouts some line of BS, it re-injures the families who have already lost loved ones. What do you have to say about New York's governor?
I think it's exactly right. It's that not only has his decision-making resulted in many deaths, his attitude and behavior, which has won him tons of adulation from all sorts of corners of the media, has been to dismiss and attack his critics and just be shocked that people could think that he did things wrong. It really is disgusting. It's the opposite of leadership. Andrew Cuomo deserves eternal shame for the way he has handled this coronavirus, and everybody in the press who sucked up to him also deserves shame. Yeah,
and when he got that Emmy and the list of actors who lined up to give him accolades, from Rosie Perez to Spike Lee, and the list goes on and on. Robert De Niro, it's like, oh, he's my governor. It's like, I wish he was my governor, because this guy sucks with his giant Q-tip from his brother. And the cover-up alone, Dave Smith.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems to at least be in their favor that they downplayed the amount of people that his policies directly killed. And many of us, in real time, criticized the policy and said this is the dumbest thing you can do is force nursing homes to take COVID positive patients. But again, I agree with Tim completely. It would be a little bit easier to accept if at least he would own up to some of the blame for what is. Look, give him the benefit of the doubt. At the time, he thought this was the best policy to force nursing homes to take COVID positive patients. Even as hard as that is to believe, maybe he really did think that was the best policy. But we now know that it wasn't, and it was a disaster. And this guy's he's profiting off this. He's writing a book. He refused to release his financials about that book. I guess at some point later in the year, we'll get some information. But he's profited both politically and financially off of this year, and to now find out that they're downplaying or underreporting the amount of deaths, it's awful. I think not only should he be shamed for the rest of his life, I think if I were him, I'd be really worried about answering to my creator when this is all over. Absolutely,
and answering to the voters. I think they should do in New York what they're doing in California. They should recall this governor because it is unconscionable. It is so horrific what he has done and the lengths he has gone to lie about it so he could say, oh, you know, 6,000 deaths in nursing homes, that's not that bad. Well, it was a lot more than that, and he knew that, and they all knew that, because the people, the little old people who were transported to the hospital, all of a sudden their deaths don't matter, and they're on a different list, Leslie.
Look, you know, Democrats have said, including myself, that this was a very bad policy, but one of the bigger problems with this is that there was no turning this policy about until May. So it continued even when they saw the damage that was done, which I think was common sense. I like truth. I like reality. And you don't have truth and reality if you have numbers that are inflated. I don't care if you're a Democratic governor in the state of New York with regard to these numbers, or if you're a Republican governor in the state of Florida regarding COVID cases, or how many or how few people are in the ICU. The American people and the people of New York under Cuomo especially not just need to have facts, but certainly they should not have had the most vulnerable segment of our population, their parents, their grandparents, in these long-term assisted living facilities put at even higher risk. We see who goes first for these vaccines. This population, the most vulnerable population in these long-term living facilities.
But then, then you have,
frankly,
you
it is a
older
blemish
people
on him
who are waiting in line for hours for vaccines, and they can't get them.
He had so many people supporting him with how forthright he was having those daily press conferences. And I do agree with Dave. When you screw up, you got to own it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a politician.
No, he doesn't want to own it. He wants to be. He wants to be president, and hopefully this will stop the slide into political hell. All right, panel. We'll see you a little bit later. Say it then to Joe. It is time for America's favorite new game, Say It Ain't Joe. Woo! Our new president likes to tell everyone that he's no socialist. But we did a little digging, and it turns out he often sounds a lot like some of the world's most notorious commie dictators. Here's how the game works. I'm going to read a quote, and the panel has to guess whether it's from Joe Biden or one of history's worst lefty tyrants. As an added bonus, the winning panelist gets an all-expense-paid trip to the Gulag. Yay! Everyone's like, is that an outlet mall? Sure. Comrades, Tim, Dave, and Leslie, are you ready to play?
Kind of.
Ready.
Okay, here we go. Boom! Tim, you go first. Ready? Question number one. Actually, it's quote number one. Politicians are the same all over. They promise to build bridges even when there are no rivers. Who said it? Joe Biden, Nikita Khrushchev, or Fidel Castro?
Nikita Khrushchev.
How did you know that? That's right.
I know everything.
Oh, my gosh. Did someone give you these questions ahead of time? Tim, I'm going to have to talk to the staff. What did you promise them? All right. Tim Carney's on the board with one. And now we go to Dave Smith. This is your quote. You ready, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
The life of a single human being is worth 1,000,000 times more than all the property of the richest man on earth. Who said it? Joe Biden, Josep Tito, or Che Guevara?
I'm going to go Joe Biden.
And you would be wrong. That was Che Guevara, who, unlike Tito, does not have a delicious vodka drink named after him. You do not get the point for that one. Leslie, here's your chance to catch up to Tim Carney, who so far in round one is unbeatable. Here's your quote. Forests are precious resources of the country and a wealth to be handed down to posterity. Who said it? Joe Biden, Kim Jong-un, or Joseph Stalin? That was not one of the choices.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Stalin.
And you would be wrong. That means Tim Carney maintains the lead. It was, in fact, Kim Jong-un. No, you didn't. Look up my fade. Never trust a big button.
I was going to say that.
No, it doesn't matter. I was going to count some horseshoes and hand grenades.
I
Doesn't
know.
count and say it ain't Joe. Okay, this is Tim's next question. Can a nation be free if it oppresses other nations? It cannot. Who said it? Joe Biden, Vladimir Lenin, or Fidel Castro?
Fidel Castro.
No, it was actually Vladimir Lenin. He's neither John Lennon nor Vladimir Putin. He's
You know
Vladimir
what?
Lenin.
He had a pretty good point on that one.
He sure did. Even a broken commie can be right twice a day. All right, here's Dave's next question. Or it's a quote. I don't know if I should say question quote. Who cares? I want you to know that everything I did it for my country. Is that Joe Biden, Pol Pot, or Che Guevara?
I'll go Pol Pot.
That's right. You are now on the board. You are tied with Tim Carney. You each have one. Pol Pot, Pol Pot. All right, this is Leslie's next quote. You ready,
That's gonna get
Leslie?
clipped out of context.
It's a Dead
I'm
Kennedy
ready.
song.
I'm ready.
Okay. No ordinary American cares about their constitutional rights. Who said that? Joe Biden, Nicolas Maduro, or Kim Jong-un?
Maduro.
No, it was in fact Biden. You do not get the point. Joe Biden said it's a real jerk-face thing to say. No ordinary American cares about their constitutional rights. Oh, eat it, Mr. President. He's my president, but still, I could tell him to eat it. All right, this is Tim's next question. Quote, I am someone who's been in politics for 43 years, and I know what I'm doing and what I should do. Have no doubt that I know how to tell the truth and to do so elegantly. Who said it? Joe Biden, Fidel Castro, or Joseph Stalin?
Joe Biden.
That was actually Fidel Castro.
Ah.
Biden was a good mathematical guess, though, because there haven't been a ton of Bidens. That's okay.
I thought you said 143 years.
That would have changed the outcome, absolutely. All right, this one is for Dave. Catch a man a fish, and you can sell it to him. Teach a man to fish, and you ruin a wonderful business opportunity. Who said this? Joe Biden, Karl Marx, or Nicolas Maduro, Dave?
Wait, that's really a quote? Someone said that? I guess it's so incoherent, I'm going to have to go Biden.
It's Karl Marx.
Really?
Look at the beard. You ruin a wonderful business. My beard looks like that. At least it did the first month of the pandemic. Okay, Leslie, here we go. Your quote. Don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget, and I'll tell you what you value. Who said that? Joe Biden, Vladimir Lenin, or making his first run here, Nicolae Ceausescu?
I'll say Ceausescu.
That's Joe Biden.
Yeah, that one I knew.
Oh my God! You know what I'm doing? I'm just guessing. I'm guessing whatever new name you put in, thinking that's the
Okay.
answer.
Tim and Dave, you're tied at 1 apiece. Leslie, you have 0. Tim, we're going to go quick here. Everything is decided by a person's thoughts. And if he is ideologically motivated, there is nothing he cannot do. Who said it? Joe Biden, Leon Trotsky, or Kim Il-sung?
Trotsky.
Trotsky is wrong-ski. It was Kim Il-sung. Dave.
I would have guessed Trotsky, too. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, well, you've been wrong as well. Keep a cool head and maintain a low profile. Never take the lead, but aim to do something big. Who said this? Joe Biden, Nicolas Maduro, or Deng Xiaoping?
Biden.
No, it's Deng Xiaoping. Commies ruin everything. I told you. All right, Leslie, this is quick for you. I'm not loved by Hillary Clinton, and I don't love her either. Who said it? Joe Biden, Fidel Castro, or Hugo Chavez?
Joe Biden.
Come on, Leslie.
Joe Biden. That's a.
When I say come on, Leslie, that doesn't mean you're right. No, it's Hugo Chavez. Okay, well, that's it. Dave, you and Tim are tied. What number am I thinking of, Tim?
7.
Dave?
6.
No, it was actually 7. Tim Carney wins a trip to the
Of course you
Gulag.
were.
Congrats.
Well, the joke's on you, because me and Tim are both on our way to the Gulag anyway.
You guys can carpool. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for playing Say It Ain't Joe. Tim, Dave, and Leslie, you're all awesome.